Hey guys, I firstly want to apologise if you can hear noise. I have the camera right next to the window because obviously that is my light source, and it's just a whole lot of noisy building going on out there. So really sorry about that. Today I have a bit of a different video. I wanted to share my university portfolio with you, and also I just thought it would be a really cool way for me to be able to see all the work I've done over the years at university. Obviously I'm currently just finished my second year, like I literally have one presentation left and then I'm done. So I thought I would do them as separate videos because obviously I just handed in my second year portfolio, so I don't actually have that for you, but in a couple of weeks I'll get it back marked and then I can share that. So I thought I would start with my first year work, and there's actually quite a lot. I forgot how much work we actually did in first year, so it's been really nice just sitting and going through it all and like organising it all. So yeah, let's get straight in because I feel like this is going to be a long video. So I'm hoping I will get everything right. It's been a long time since I did this work, so like knowing what I did for each thing is going to be difficult. But the first term at university was September to December, and we basically had two projects. We had a project called An Unexpected Everyday, and the second one was called A Space Within. I'll start with an Unexpected Everyday. So this was the first project we were given, and basically we had to create a set of work of prints. We were only allowed to use 35mm film cameras and black and white, and we had to process all the film. We actually did all of it by hand because we hadn't been taught how to use it. Where's my phone? So we weren't allowed to use the machine processing. We had to process everything by hand, which means you have to like go into like a cupboard and to take the film out of the canister and put it in a little hand tank and then like pour all the chemicals in and shake it around for certain amounts of time to get like to process it correctly and everything. So you could take a roll of film not knowing if you had done it right or not, and then you could still mess it all up in the processing process. So it was all a bit wild, and then we had to go in the black and white darkroom and then print like that. So it was a really interesting project to do, and I had done a little bit of like black and white film photography before, like, at college, but I didn't really get the hang of it. I didn't understand how to do it at all. So this was like really jumping in at the deep end, like no idea what to do. And we basically, I think, just had to produce, it says here, for the submission, which was in December, we had to present 6 10x8 black and white analogue prints. So we literally had to do everything by hand basically. 2 10x8 good quality contact sheets, I'll show you what those look like, and a critical review, which is basically like an essay of what you did and like who inspired you and all that kind of stuff. That was 500 words long, and then we also had to just submit everything, like literally everything we did. So this sketchbook will have gone in and like everything. So I started off with a mind map. Literally every project I start with a mind map. I'm like, okay, what shall I do? Mind map it out. It's just the way I can just get everything from my brain into the mind map, and I can always refer back to it or add different things in. And so this is a contact sheet. This is the first contact sheet I ever shot on black and white 35mm film. I was using Ilford HP5 Plus film, if you wanted to know. And yeah, so those are literally my first prints that I did. Some inspiration, and yeah, these sketchbooks we don't do anymore, and I'm kind of glad because the sketchbook in itself was so much work. So that's some more research, some more shoots, and just like exploring. I really used this project basically just to explore Cornwall. So there we go, Newquay. I went to Newquay for the first time. I went on my own actually, and we literally had to do this all by hand. So all of these prints are like colour graded, so you would work out the whites first and which is the right grade, and then you do the same with the blacks, and then you basically expose it on the enlarger twice to get the correct exposure like overall. It's really interesting, and like we had loads of workshops on how to do everything, and yeah, the lizard. Oh, this is where my parents came to visit. My research. So much research. I don't think any of it really did anything. There we go. So yeah. Fourth tower. Yeah, there's some more split grading. Crazy. I did so much writing in this. I never do this much now. So yeah, and then those are the final prints on the last page, and I will show you those as 10 by 8 prints. This project really wasn't my best. I don't think I got a very good grade. I think I got a 2-1, but I think it was like 2-1/2-2-ish. Like the photography of it, they said wasn't like that great, which is a bit like, I always get better grades in my essays than I do the projects. So I could do a project and the essay that I write about the project will get a higher grade than the project itself. It's just the way it goes, but at least that kind of boosts it up a bit. Here we have A Space Within. So this was the second project that we got given, that we did basically, I think it was supposed to be like half and half, but I ended up doing the Unexpected Everyday project sort of alongside this one. So A Space Within, basically they gave us a title and you interpret it in the way that you want to. So yeah, again, minimum of 6 black and white analog prints. It's actually called, it was called A Space Within and Other Stories, and I interpreted that as like a space within, and kind of was reflecting like mental feelings. Although I went really dark with this project and I wasn't in a dark place at the time, so it was a bit weird, but maybe I was in a dark place and I didn't realise, and I was just channeling all that through my photography. I don't know. So decided I wanted to experiment with multiple exposure, and to do that on a 35mm camera you have to stop the film from winding forward. Yeah, I had this idea to experiment with myself and do some self-portraiture, which I actually kind of liked. I don't think I'd do it again, but I enjoyed doing it for this project, and I really like them, they're cool. And then yeah, then I got really dark. I put loads of makeup on and then experimented with the makeup and made the mascara like run down my face, but I did it with eyeshadow, so it was like really bold. I put on an outfit and I did the photos, and yeah, then I crawled into the corner of the room and like got all emo. And yeah, this is the medium format. As you can see, it's just too close up on my face because I was doing it with a self timer, so that was easier on my other camera, but with the medium format camera it didn't work. Oh, and these are all photocopies of the prints. I should have explained that to begin with, but basically in my sketchbook they told us not to stick in the prints and stuff into our sketchbooks, to have those freely, so that's what's in those big plastic folders I have. That's all of the prints, and then these are just photocopies of everything. And then there's my final prints. So again, I had to do the essay alongside the prints, and those are the prints. And I got a good grade on this, got 2-1. I was really happy with that. So in the second term we had 3 projects. Strangers project, what was it called? It was like called Strangers, Seeing the Other Through the Eyes of Another. Studio project, which was called The Young and the Reckless. And then we had an SDA project, which is self-directed assessment, something like that. So I'll start with Strangers because that's what we were given first. We were actually given this brief before Christmas because they kind of presumed that we would do most of it like over the Christmas break, but obviously that didn't happen, and I pretty much did this project like in the Easter holidays, like 2 weeks before the deadline, because this project I really did not want to do. This project, basically the point was, I think we had to create 9 pictures or 8 pictures, a series of 8 pictures minimum, and we had to photograph strangers, people we didn't know. And we had to interact with them, so we had to get their permission to be photographed. and I just did not want to talk to people and ask their photos. I was struggling enough just to, you know, make sure I was taking a good photo, let alone like having to deal with talking to a random stranger. So yeah, started off with some research, and then here's my first shoot. Then I decided I wanted to like have like a theme and like a center around it. So I thought, I was kind of getting into yoga at the time, not that I've continued it ever since, but I decided I wanted to shoot some yoga people. They're not great because I forgot to reset the settings on the camera, so that wasn't great. And yeah, that just didn't really go anywhere. I wasn't really interested in that kind of those photos, but it's cool that they're on their website, so got something out of it. Yeah, so then I did some more research, and I just carried on just doing a few shoots here and there, and then I had this new idea, which was around Easter time, and I actually got my mum to help me with some more research. I got my mum to help me. She basically went up to the people. She went up to the people for me and asked them if I could take their photo, and lots of people said yes. And then when my mum said, okay, it's your turn now, you go and ask them, they said no. Like the first person I asked, actually you might notice, that's actually my mum and my dog, my friend Alice, and yeah, my stepdad Richard. Not totally strangers, but you know, near enough. And then that's the final order of the prints, and for some reason I don't have all of the prints. Like, I think they took some of them away when I gave it back, like gave them in. I think somebody said they were taken like for an exhibition, but I never saw them anywhere, so I don't understand where they went or why. But yeah, that project actually turned out way better than I ever thought it was going to. It took a lot of different turns, but I got there in the end, and I got an alright grade on that. I think I got a 2-1, so that was pretty decent. Here is the biggest of all of the sketchbooks. I literally filled this one like all the way. So this studio project, we had very strict guidelines for this project. All of the photos had to be taken within the studio, and they had to be digital apart from 3. 3 photos had to be taken on analog medium format film. So, and then they had to be printed in the darkroom. So they had to be printed manually and everything in the darkroom, processed, whatever, yeah. But the other 6 had to be digital, and 3 prints had to be self-portraits. 3 prints had to be photos of somebody within our group, because to begin with we were set into groups of 3 of people within our course, and then 3 of the portraits had to be of people outside of our course. So 3 of ourselves, 3 of people on our course, and then 3 of people not on our course. So again, I started with a mind map, and I decided that for this project I wanted to create like almost like a fake TV show and do like character portraits. So I decided to like make people characters. There's some research. Yeah, so here I did some little drawings of like each character. And yeah. So there they are, just describing each character, who they are. So I wanted all of the photos to be very similar. I've had some inspiration, I'll try and find it as we scroll through there. Yeah, there's some self-portraits of myself as a character. I was taking inspiration from Riverdale, from a set of portraits that they had with these colours of like red and blue. Which I obviously did in the studio with like coloured gels over the lights. Yeah, there's the Riverdale photos. So I took some inspiration from that, and I wanted to just do like all of the characters in very similar ways. But then when I spoke to my tutor, she was like they didn't like that, because everyone was kind of doing these kind of colour things, and I didn't know that at the time. That was just the like aesthetic that I really liked and wanted to go for with my project. Because I thought it worked really well. But they wanted everyone to do different things for each like photo, like the photos weren't allowed to be like the same as like a set, which I think was really silly because I think it worked really well. So I kind of did what they said and kind of didn't. And then these was where I came to like my final like plan ideas. So this was a shoot idea. I got some inspiration off Pinterest and I did a detective shoot, and I got Anders to be the detective. And then I also did like a jock kind of thing, so I bought like a Letterman jacket and those like baseball t-shirts that like Troy wears in High School Musical. I bought some of those off like Amazon. Unfortunately I didn't do too well with the lighting, so the photos are a bit like patchy, but yeah, I was really pleased with those. And there's the detective ones of Anders. We got this like filter over one of the lights that made it look like window shutters, which I just thought was really cool. And then I did this like colour pop kind of, and I did that with myself because obviously I couldn't have all of the photos the same like the others. So yeah, I just got a bit silly, got a plastic lollipop, took some inspiration from movie posters. I kind of did, that was like a really vague idea that I kind of wanted to do really well but didn't have enough time to do really well. So I just did some little mock-up ideas. There's like the order of all of the prints, and I used prints from the self-portrait shoots and as a detective, and then my flatmate Emma and the two boys that I got from the model page. So onto the last project that I did. This was an SDA, so it was a self-directed assignment, so it was basically whatever you want, but you have to submit, I think it was like 8 prints or 9 prints I think, and a series of like, you could do a book, you could do a moving image, that kind of thing. I just did prints. So again, I started off with a mind map. That's literally everywhere I go. Actually, my project changed. I first started, yeah, there's some research. I wanted to do like plants. Actually, when I saw this a minute ago, I thought, wow, that really looks like my project that I just did. But my tutor told me not to do that. But I did something very similar this time, but I just wanted to take like really nice photos of plants. And I was gonna do it on black and white film again. My project changed the idea. Actually, I think my tutor basically gave me this idea, and I was looking at kind of just like things that we see every day, but like things that are just overlooked. And yeah, there's some research here that she told me to look at. Rita Bart, who's like one of my faves. Some more research there. And then I went to St Michael's Mount with my friend Sophie. Really for her project, she wanted to go there, and I was just like, yeah, I'll come. And it actually became really beneficial for my project, and just was like a real turning point. So yeah, here's some of the images. And yeah, it was just kind of like details, like close up, things that just like catch your eye and you're like, oh, that's really pretty. Just kind of like being in the moment and that kind of thing. Some more research there. There's my tube window with the horrible orange blind. Yeah, and then I just experimented with some eggs, some horrible tube cooker top that made it into the project. Some more shoots. This was like outside. This was just like really random things, but actually like was interesting. Some baked beans, biscuit half eaten, the rubbish with my Haribo wrapper. Again, some more research. And then yeah, these are the final prints. So I did do 8. And again, in the final prints that I have, some of them are missing and I don't know where they've gone, but I don't have all of them. But that's the final order of all of the prints. And yeah, I really enjoyed this project, and so did my tutor, and I think that's why I enjoyed it so much, because every time I spoke to her she was like, yeah. But then she kind of inspired the project in the first place. So that's probably why. But yeah, I'm really happy that actually all of my work was really consistent across the whole year. Like I really wanted, although towards the end I really wasn't enjoying these black sketchbooks, but I'm glad I stuck it out, because like I really liked that my first year at uni was all the same like style books. Second year was not like that at all, but we'll look at that in the next video. We actually did some other stuff as well. We did a couple of essays and presentations and stuff as well, but this is like my practice, my photography work. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. Let me know if you're looking forward to seeing my second year work. Personally, I think it is much better and I'm excited to show you. So yeah, I will see you in a new video next week. Bye.